your number 3 is Darnell Washington from Georgia.
Mhm.
Now, first of all, okay, so Bowers was a true freshman last season.
Correct.
So he cannot come out this season.
Correct.
Okay, so that's something that no matter how much you like him, he can't come out. So
he will be a top 10 pick next year.
Yes.
Brock Bowers, unless something.
He's that next elite guy.
Yes.
That is going to be in the top 10 potentially.
That we don't have in this class. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. But Darnell Washington.
He's not eligible. Darnell Washington, also a former 5-star recruit, that he has a really rare blend of weight, length, and long speed. And I'll get into what I mean by long speed, but I just want to talk about the body first.
Okay.
And how it shows up as a blocker. You're not going to draft a tight end in the first round to block, but if you have that feather in your cap, it means something. And I think these power offenses, I see him being such an ideal fit for a team like Tennessee, where their tight end is a 6th offensive lineman for the Derrick Henry offense. But when they need you to run routes, you can go out there and get the job done. I'm not saying he's going to be drafted by the Titans, but a team like that would be so good because he truly does block. If we're just going to grade blocking ability in the running game, he grades better than half the linemen in the class. And he's 275 pounds with 35+ inch arms.
Yeah.
And he dominates guys at the second level. When he gets to a linebacker or safety, it looks like he's playing. It looks like a senior in high school playing junior high football. He just overwhelms guys, and he rarely loses any blocking engagement that he's in. And now, he's got one of the best yards after catch numbers in the country for the position. And it's because he's so hard to get on the ground. If you remember what Brandon Jacobs looked like as a running back when he played, not a great running back, but he looked different, right? Because he was just massive.
Yeah.
That's what he looks like with the ball in his hands. He just runs guys over. He never goes down on first contact, stiff arms, lowers his shoulder, 275 pounds. And now he's not the most sudden guy in the world. And it's easy to see on tape. He doesn't turn around to the ball very quickly, struggles to get in and out of breaks as a route runner. But once he gets going, he's got credible 4.6 speed. And you talk about this kind of just vertical threat blocker, receiver. I think he's a day one starting in the NFL if he gets drafted into the right situation.
I'm going to bring up a player that these players come along a lot in college sports, and they're so gifted athletically, and you think they're going to be superstars, but all of a sudden, a couple of years later, who was that guy that you just forget them, and you're
right.
Eric Gilbert, I think, might be that guy.
Yeah,
and I know it's not about anything devious. He's not a bad seed. There just seems to be, from what I've heard of the people I've talked to, there just seems to be he's dealing with personal issues. And we're in an era right now, our society. There's a lot of that going around, where a lot of young kids having a hard time with life, and he just seems to be in that category. And it's unfortunate because he's a very talented football player, but he has to find a way to play a full season in college before the end, because he's never going to get drafted. That doesn't mean he can't eventually make it in the NFL if he figures things out with his personal life. He's so talented. But yeah, hopefully sooner, maybe it's next year, maybe he'll get more time with Washington gone. Maybe that'll be a good year to see if he can actually put it all together.
Yeah, and the talent and physical package that kid brings to the table, that Gilbert brings to the table, you can count on one hand how many times you're going to see that over the course of a couple of years. So he has that in him that most other players will never reach, right? They're not all of a sudden going to become the athlete that he is. All he needs to show is just a string of quality tape. It doesn't need to be a full season even. If there will be someone in the league, and then we're talking about next season if he goes back to Georgia, which I'm assuming he will, that if he can just put together 6, 7, 8 quality games next year, that's going to be enough for him, because that position, if you can really find like a blue goose at that position, that can change an offense. And every team is going to be looking for it. Every team is currently looking for it. And the success rate on high draft picks at tight end is pretty low. But I think teams know that how valuable they can be. And Gilbert is always going to be the most talented guy in the room. If you put him in a room with tight ends, it'll be the question, can he put enough quality skill set on tape? And, Yeah, if he stays there at Georgia next year, I mean that 1-2 punch with him and Bowers is going to be a lot of fun to watch.